Alright, it's the 27th of January, and I actually just got a whole bunch of Albion strawberries. And it says a pack of 12. It's got off of eBay. And yeah, here they are. It says 12, but I counted 14 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So yeah, this is a perfect opportunity, and actually have these rows already well prepared. It has compost, peat moss, and perlite, and also put in a bunch of this stuff, which is alfalfa. So I'll mix it in really well. And the plan is to get in 5 plants per bucket. These are really long ones. These are about, let's see, maybe a little over 2 feet long, almost 30 inches long, and they're maybe about 6 inches high. But yeah, it says that the space is supposed to be about 14 inches apart, but I really don't feel like there's a need to do it like that. So, but today's experiment is I'm going to, in the back row, use a C1 substance, which is supposed to increase the carbon intake. So it's supposed to increase the carbon flow where, like when you spray it on the leaves, it goes through the leaves down to the roots and feeds the bacteria, which is supposed to in turn turn nutrients back to the plant, which makes the growth a lot better. But I'm not really sure. I'm just trying it out, seeing what happens. But in order to make this a fair assessment, I'm going to use very equal sized plants. Because obviously if I make them different sizes, it's gonna not be a really good experiment. So I'm just gonna choose probably the 10 best plants out of all of these. And based on the look of it, both of these are actually pretty even. I left the 4 smallest ones in. I'll probably plant them somewhere else because they're not part of the experiment. But here are some Walmart bought strawberries that have actually been grown for a little bit, maybe about a week or 2. And actually I already got a strawberry. There's one on here right now. But Albion, it's supposed to be the commercially grown one in California, so I'd like to see if it actually does better than any of these. So I'm just going to apply the C1. And this is actually my past experiments. From these plants forward, I applied all these with C1, however these guys have not. And overall, I have not seen a difference. On the left one, on this tray, I've applied C1, and on this right tray, I have not. So, it's only been about a week. Basically, based on an eye test, I really can't tell any difference between the size of these seedlings, desert rose adeniums. But still really early. The other tray has really grown very much in a week. And another thing is these guys they have pretty waxy leaves, so I'm not really sure if they can take it in fully early either. And actually the left half, so from about this plant to the left, I've applied C1, the carbon 1, and it's really hard to tell with spinach. Based on an eye test, they look exactly the same, but it's hard to judge. And I've also done it to these cacao seedlings, but this was also only a week ago. I did not give any C1 to these guys, but they're in bigger pots. And I did give it to these cacao seedlings. And one thing that I'm seeing as a trend is that these guys seem to be making more new leaves. Like right here. Like this guy actually put in a bunch of new leaves. Well, some of them, so yeah, this one's starting to. But not really sure if I can attribute it to the C1. This one's doing really well. This one's gotten a lot taller, like about 2 inches in the last week. This guy's putting some really big leaves. Whereas the ones that did not get the C1, some of them are growing a little bit, but even though they're in bigger pots, I just don't see quite as much growth. But it's hard to tell. I'm also planning on doing these orange bell pepper seedlings. So I'm planning on spraying the C1 on the left 3 and leaving these alone as a control. So I'm hoping it actually does something on these, because these are really fast growing. And I also plan on doing it on these dragon fruits. So the left 2 right here, I'm going to apply it with C1, and I'm going to leave these guys alone as a control. But yeah, if anything really happens quickly, it should be these strawberries, as well as the bell peppers. Because it's usually the fast growing plants that actually show something, and it's usually the ones that have leaves that can actually absorb this stuff, which are the ones that should show more clear-cut results. But we'll probably see in another 2-3 weeks, maybe a couple months, to see if this does anything at all. Thanks for watching.